You want to go ahead and have a seat? James, you want to go ahead and have a seat?
Absolutely.
Welcome, everybody, to today's Lunch and Learn, where we're going to be speaking about cybersecurity and also artificial intelligence. Want to thank our sponsor of today, Advanced Wealth Strategies. And we have with us Douglas Marion, who is not only our sponsor, but the 2023 board chair of the Lakenormanchamber of Commerce. Douglas.
Hello, everyone. I'm the current chairman of the board of directors for the Lakenormanchamber of Commerce. I've decided to sponsor the Lunch and Learn event today. Advanced Wealth Strategy is just an independent financial planning firm right down the street here on West Catawba Avenue. We've got 5 advisors on staff. If anybody's looking for any sort of financial advice, we handle everything, anything from insurance services, investment management, tax planning, even commercial real estate. So we try to handle as much as possible, and we focus on the tax planning as a specialty, but I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about automating businesses and AI and everything else for content communications, just helping better all of our businesses. So enjoy the lunch.
Thank you for the lunch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Douglas. We rarely have 2 Lunch and Learns in 1 week, but we also have a program on Thursday. Lisa Bass is going to be here, another noon Lunch and Learn on identity theft. And so I hope you can join us for that as well. I had a chance to talk to Leif Salma,
Yes, sir.
and he was on one of our Around the Lakes, and we were talking about his particular other business that he has, J&M Naturals. And he was talking about some things that we could incorporate into the Chamber of Commerce website and maybe our Facebook page. And as he started talking about that, I knew that it was something that we wanted our board to look into, but also something our members might be very, very interested. James Sanders shared resources, and I go back a long way. He has been taking care of us at the Chamber of Commerce and encouraged me not to click on things I shouldn't click on for quite a while. But James is a graduate of our Leadership Lake Norman program and sponsors a retreat every year, but also keeps us safe here at the Chamber of Commerce. And what I'm going to do, James, is I'm going to turn it over to you, and
Yes,
then
please.
you and Lake can have a conversation.
Absolutely,
Awesome.
yes. So again, I'm James from Shared Resources. We're an IT consulting firm, 23rd year here in Cornelius. Very grateful for all of the time that we've here. In the room right now, I count 5 people, so about a third to a quarter of the people that are in here, I support in one way or another already. So thank you for helping me pay my mortgage. The Lunch and Learn is an opportunity to come out and network. And so I appreciate the opportunity to get to meet each one of you individually before we leave. And let me tell you real quick about what we do. We proactively identify opportunities and weaknesses with networks that support small businesses. And we address those opportunities and weaknesses so that you can stay productive. Downtime is the real cost. You take one person firm and you're down and you're not making any money. 2-person, you're not making twice that amount of money. And so we do everything we can to keep everything up and running and doing what's supposed to be doing so that you don't have downtime. To speak on security real quick, and I'm going to have a very small part of today. But to speak on security, a lot of people try to do it themselves. And as the owner of a IT consulting business with the experience of 30 plus years behind me, I have employees. I can't do it by myself. I have employees that are far superior with skills than I have. And so if you're out trying to do it on your own, consider a minimal monthly expense to avoid the risk that goes with trying to maintain things on your own. That's the biggest piece I have, biggest guidance I have. Another piece is I've got all kinds of guidance in regards to shopping for small business IT providers, and I welcome that opportunity to talk to you about it individually. But the other one is think before you click. Still today, emails and text messages and the phone calls are what are catching people. Older people are getting caught by the phone calls more than anyone else. Middle-aged people by the emails And I don't know of a single person that's been caught by the text yet, but the bad guys are certainly trying to get in there. So before we leave, I'll pass out a sheet that reminds you to click before you, or think before you click before you think.
Yeah.
That'll keep me in business.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, there is a technology that is disruptive, so disruptive, and so worthwhile and so reasonably priced that I stop and think about the clients that I take care of and think, okay, who would fit this kind of solution? And what I saw from Lathe, applying AI chatbots to websites, I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. And when he demonstrated how it was set up and how he could provide that kind of service and at such a reasonable price, I really started going through my list of clients and saying, okay, who does this fit really well? And I'm grateful for those of you who are out here taking a look at this. And for my clients who aren't, I'm going to send them the video when we're done. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Lathe, and Lathe will talk to you about what he can do for us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James. So as James and Bill brought up a couple times, my name is Lathe, and today I'm representing Evolve Solutions, which is a business development service. And we do almost A to Z, from implementing new systems, automated systems. Today, I'm going to focus on email marketing, like email flows and drip campaigns, as well as chatbots, and go over the different kinds and how you can implement some of these today. We are very creative with our solutions. So Evolve Solutions, our business, this brand is relatively new. However, we've been doing a lot of these things for other brands for many years. We have a few other businesses that we focus on a lot of the time. So this is more of a newer venture, but I'm excited to show you guys a little bit about what we can do. And yeah, hopefully we can continue to evolve together. And you said that you wanted to maybe do a round table and kind of see what.
Yeah, real quick, if you want to say who you are and what business you're in. Start with you. Yes.
I'm Diane Schwab, and my business is Charlotte Landscapes, and we're an interior landscape company.
Hello, my name is Liz Royce, and I'm with 52 CEOs, and I'm a life and business strategist, helping people achieve success both personally and professionally.
Rod Beard, we've got 3 related companies here. Charlotte Payroll, where we process payroll for smaller business, smaller and mid-sized companies. We have Charlotte Health Share, where we provide an alternative to high-cost health insurance. And our most recent company, because our bank has just recognized hemp farms as a legitimate legal business, and we have hemp payroll, where we now can do payroll for hemp farms and CBD too.
Maria Tesla, pastry chef and owner of Beyond Decadence, and I do diversity, equity, and inclusion training through interactive baking demonstrations and business experiences for corporate clients and private.
Jennifer Senos, I'm with Quest Mergers and Acquisitions. I'm the marketing guru there. So I'm doing a lot of automation now with different things. So this will be interesting for me.
Very cool. Yeah.
My name is Christina Koshes. I'm real estate.
You are so pretty. Christine's also my girlfriend.
Very good. Lathe Salome, Evolve Solutions, and J&O Naturals, as Bill mentioned, which is a local zero waste personal care store. And my wife and I own that, and then we also own this business.
I already introduced myself. I'm Douglas Marion with Advanced Wealth Strategies.
I'm Chris Ashworth. I'm retired from FedEx Ground. I'm here with my wife, Sally.
I'm Sally Ashworth. Visit Lake Norman, and when we're done here, if you all would like, we'll open the door downstairs. If some of you all would like to come into the visitor center, on one side we have merchandise, and we welcome you all to see the different varieties of merchandise that we sell.
I'm Cindy Bartley, also with Visit Lake Norman, travel and tourism, hospitality for Cornelius Davidson Hunters.
I'm Julia with CET Computer Magic of Mooresville.
Lisa Bass, Voluntary Benefits Advisor. I work with PPLSI. I represent Legal Shield and IP Shield, as well as Aflac Suite of Services.
Hi, Harv Spetman. I'm a business coach, growing companies
on the strategical part of the equation. Work all over the place in the US and also outside the US. Bit marketing is a special thing, and we're wondering if you're going to tell us about it. Looking forward.
Awesome.
Hey everyone, Jody Taylor, Director of Marketing and Engagement with the United Way of Argo County. Nice to see everybody. Excited about today.
Bill Russell with the Chamber.
I'm Julia Rogers. I am co-own Blackberry Ridge Farm. We grow hemp and for CBD and yeah, and flowers. We do flowers and events, agritourism.
Good diverse mix of people. So thank you all for coming. This is great. I'm excited to see if anything that we provide can be of use for you guys. So awesome. Should we jump right into
Jump right into
presentation?
it.
Awesome. So I prepared a short presentation, and I know we don't have a ton of time, so I will try to get through it as quick as possible. Let me make sure. Sorry, I'm just trying to get full screen. I think my thing is blocked out over here. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, so my name is Lath. As I mentioned, today I'm representing Evolve Solutions, and I'm going to talk about. Oh, sorry. I'm going to talk about. Oh, is that, okay. I'm going to talk about automating your business, specifically regarding email marketing, so drip campaigns, email flows, and chatbots. And this one, is it? Sorry, bear with us for a second. Some technical difficulties. And should be good. Okay, perfect. Like I mentioned, we don't have a lot of time, so I'm just gonna go at a very high level, but here's a rundown of what we'll be going over today. A quick intro about myself, what are automations in general for business, a guide on email flows, a little bit about chatbots, some actual applications of what companies are doing today, and then how you can implement some of these things into your own business. So to start, as you can see, it's my beautiful wife and daughter. My name is Lath. I'm a digital marketer and a brand founder. Prior to being an entrepreneur full-time, I actually have an undergrad in marketing and then an MBA with concentrations in finance and global supply chain management. I've worked in several roles from sales, project management, marketing, and so on. Back in 2018, my wife and I started our first business, which was J&L Naturals. And we were able to scale that business to now a 4,000 square foot facility in Mooresville. And that's where we do all of our manufacturing, production, fulfillment, everything, kind of all of our business operations out of that building. Besides that, we also have a few other businesses, and Evolved, which is our newest one. However, J&L Naturals does take up the majority of our time. So what are automations? In a general sense, a business process automation is simply the use of technology to automate manual repetitive tasks, which allow you as the owner, operator, whatever your role is, to have more time to focus on those critical tasks, those, make those important decisions. So in general, automations are a very broad term. And some examples can include systems that automatically generate reports and distribute them, your order entry systems, inventory management, and then of course, email marketing and chatbots, which we're going to talk about today. So what is the current situation? This is actually a local pizza place, and I blurred out their name for privacy, so ignore those red blurbs. But I went to their social media and I just asked them, can I see a menu? And you can see they, have just the Facebook preloaded automated response and no comment back in months. And I still have not received any message back from them. And so I went to their website as well, and I saw they have no customer list, no sort of automations at all, and they're losing potential customers. And on top of that, they have a huge following, which they are not leveraging at all, and they could leverage that a lot better. So this is what the story for many companies is right now. And I'm going to go to what the solution will be in a little bit here. So when it comes to email flows, or also known as drip campaigns, they're essentially an automation feature that you can use to tailor communications with your customer base. So they're static, they're predetermined, and they're scheduled and triggered by a customer's action. And you set them up once, and then you maintain, you tweak, and optimize. Some examples of these, as you can see listed here. So a welcome series, when someone first joins your list, you can set them up a flow that follows them for a couple of weeks saying, hi, here's who we are. And then a few days later, send them a message about, here's a coupon, or here's about our products. And kind of really your imagination is your only limitation here. So we also have browse abandonment, trying to recapture sales, abandoned cart, post-purchase, product review, back in stock, and so many more. And this is a quick schematic of a email flow for a clothing business. So as you can see, what happens is when someone joins your newsletter, or they join your customer list, then they're going to go down into this flow, and there's conditional splits that are going to split them. If you have their gender, or if you know what their gender is, then they'll go down a different path. So for example, if they're a female, they're going to go down this flow. If they're a male, they're going to go down the middle. And if their gender is not set, then they're going to go down the very end flow. And this is very important for when you start getting more and more information about your customers. This is a very basic example, but as you can see, the power of it is if you know what someone's gender is, or you have any of this information about someone, you can send them down a completely personalized journey and offer them recommendations that they actually would like, instead of just, one size kind of fits all for everyone. And so this really can be as simple or as complex as you'd like it. And it really gets powerful the more data that you collect, the more ways that you're able to tag people. And then also once you go cross-platform and you can get people from, let's say, Facebook, and you have a lot of information about them, and bring them over to your SMS or your email list, and vice versa, have them going back and forth on different platforms as well. Then when it comes to chatbots, what is a chatbot? So it's essentially an application designed to simulate human conversation. So they make personalized, relevant, and instantaneous interactions possible using real-time information based on your customers, who they are, where they live, the actions they're taking, etc. These can be applied to several different platforms. So your website, your social media, SMS, email, and more. And these are going to serve a lot of different purposes, like your customer service agent, your salesperson. Really, however you want to set it up is the purpose that it's going to serve, and you can guide people to what your specific goals are. And they're highly customized to your specific business. So it's not a one-size-fits-all type solution. There are 3 main types of chatbots. So rule-based, which are the most common, those are predetermined. You have responses that your customers can select, and then it will take them down a certain path. Then you have, and I'll go into a little bit of detail on each of these in a second. You have AI-based, which those integrate AI into your chatbot, and then it can understand intent and phrase and sort of what someone is getting at if they don't type something or select an option that's within the chatbot specifically. And then you have live chat, which is usually paired with another type of chatbot, and this serves as that fallback for when the chatbot doesn't know how to answer or doesn't know how to respond. So rule-based, this is the most common, and you can kind of see how the flow sort of works, but you have your predetermined responses. So let's say you have a menu that pops up when someone goes into your Facebook chatbot and they click send message. Then a message is going to pop up and it will have 3 different options, let's say. Depending on what the customer selects, their interaction from that point forward is going to be completely different than somebody that selected the second option or the third option. And this is all predetermined. So there's not a lot of flexibility in terms of if someone says something outside of what the chatbot is, and that's more where the AI kind of steps in and helps out with that. And this is a schematic. This is actually a chatbot that we have for our business right now for Evolved. And you can just see this is the welcome message here. And it says, how can we help you today? And then if someone says, book a call, it's going to take them up this path. It's going to tag them. So I know that that person is interested in booking a call. So I can always follow up later on. I can set up a smart delay. I can do sort of all kinds of things from here. Then the second option, take a tour. It will kind of guide them through a chatbot tour, showing some of the functionality that a chatbot can do. And then if there's something else, then they'll go down this path and there will be some more options. And along the way, for every click that someone is making, you have the opportunity to tag them and learn more about what that customer is looking for, what their needs are, so that you can fulfill that their exact need. So that's a rule-based, and it's a very simple example, but this can also be as simple or as complex as you make it as well. Then we have AI-based, and it's much more complex. Usually you lean on something like Dialogflow from Google, which is an open AI platform, or there's many others. But what it does is it uses NPL, which is natural language processing, and it can understand what a user is trying to get at. If they type a message, for example, can I see a menu? The bot knows that they want to see the menu. So it will then send them to the menu flow, and they can continue their journey. This can be very powerful. They learn as they go, the chatbots, and they have these massive databases from millions of responses in the past, millions of people interacting with them, and they continue to evolve and get better and better, essentially. And this is what happens in the background. The user types something, the bot analyzes it, identifies what they're getting at, and then replies to the user. And it happens instantaneously. This is an example of an AI-based chatbot in real life. So here's a grocery chain, and you can see the kinds of questions that you can ask it. Do you have any Australian Chardonnays under 5 pounds? The bot picks up on all of those keywords. So Australian Chardonnay under 5 pounds, and provides a list of all of the options that they have that fit that criteria. You can also say, need a recommendation for chicken tikka masala, and it will come up with a specific recipe. Really, the possibilities are endless. This is Kia, actually their chatbot over here. You can say, how about the Stinger? And the bot knows that you want information on their Kia Stinger, and so it will then provide information. And you have someone that you basically crossed out the middleman, the salesperson, and it can have the customer continue their journey just like that. Then we have a live chatbot. And like I mentioned earlier, this is usually paired with your other chatbot, and it essentially serves as a fallback for if a customer says something that the bot doesn't understand what to do. The bot will ping whoever your customer service person is, and that person then logs in and replies manually. And so it's powerful. This is essentially what most people are doing right now in total, is whenever they get any sort of message, it will ping them to log in and respond. The bot is going to eliminate 90% of the common questions that you get, assuming you set it up correctly. And this is a quick, just a snapshot of a live chat feature that we have in our bot. So we have the customer, they go through, and if they have an issue with an order, for example, as soon as they type, we have them type in what their issue is. Once they type it, then it's going to mark the conversation open, and it's going to notify our customer service person via email or ManyChat, which is a chatbot program that we use a lot, or whatever other means that you'd like. You could have it text yourself or whatever is the best communication method for you. So actual applications. Earlier, we talked about that local pizza place that doesn't have any sort of automation or any sort of email set up. And so we can look at Domino's. Oh, actually, that's next slide. Sorry. Domino's is actually a really good example, and I'll go over it in the next slide too. But Domino's has been a pioneer in this sort of technology for a long time. And they actually set up a fully integrated menu into their system. And these were the goals that they said that they wanted with setting up the chatbot. So data, interface, and leverage. Data, they wanted new ways to market. They wanted to be able to offer personalized recommendations, and they wanted to be able to retarget customers. Interface, they wanted an interface built into their own system that doesn't have a customer bouncing off going to, Uber Eats or DoorDash or another system that they're going to have to pay fees for. They're going to leave, they don't get to keep that customer's information. Uber Eats or DoorDash does. They have to leave and, kind of forget Domino's. Maybe they go and order from somewhere else once they're on there. So this kind of keeps it all in-house, allows them to save money and improve their customer service. And then leverage, they wanted to improve their conversion rate, increase their impressions, and keep customers engaged. So what does their solution look like? This is, if you go to Domino's right now and start typing to their chatbot, you can order a pizza right through their bot, just from typing, not have to go to a different website or call them or anything like that. You can completely customize all of your options, directly in the chatbot. And the beauty of this, on top of everything that we just mentioned, is throughout the whole process, they are tagging customers in different ways based on what that customer likes, what kind of toppings they choose. They can then use all that information, retarget those customers later on, and basically just increase the lifetime value of that customer, decrease their customer acquisition costs, really do so much. Once you start gathering some, more and more data, it becomes more and more powerful. And then here are some creative examples that we use actually, and that you guys can use, or that, just other things that you can do with chatbots. You can link a QR code directly to a chatbot. So this is actually an insert that we use in J&L Naturals, our other business. And customers, it's a little business card insert that goes in the order, and it says, get a free lip balm on your next order when you scan this code. So customers will scan that code, and it automatically opens up in Facebook Messenger, and the bot starts talking to them. And it says, hey, thank you for your order, because they would have had to place an order to get this. And would you like another lip balm? We just need your email and phone number. And so we're kind of getting them on many different avenues. So we have their Facebook, so we can retarget them later with ads. We have their phone number, so we can add them to our SMS text group, and we have their email. So in one go, we get 3 ways to communicate with that customer. And on top of that, they get a code for a free lip balm with their next order. So hopefully we're converting that customer again. We have chatbot review flows. So you can, same kind of thing, get someone to your review flow, ask them how they like their product, how they like their service. Was it food they ordered? How did they like it? And then based on what their response is, you can then guide them a different way as well. So if they say, oh, I hated it, you can say, I'm so sorry to hear that. Is there anything we can do to help? Do you have any feedback you can provide? And, get their feedback, learn from that, grow as a business. And on top of that, negate a bad review from getting published, because you're just getting their feedback, essentially in private. Whereas If they say that they love the product, then you guide them to leave a review, right away. You want to capture what their feedback is. You want them to, share it with other people. And then you can also do something like if they're in the middle, they're not sure yet, maybe they haven't tried it, say, okay, is it all right if I follow up in a few days and ask you again? And kind of you have another shot at getting a review or whatever else that you'd like to do with that customer. This gets really, really powerful when you start talking about integrations. So there are, I know I listed 3 there, which are Google Sheets, Shopify, and Klaviyo, but there are literally thousands of integrations that you can put together with these kinds of systems to either capture data or read data or link different systems together, or basically whatever you would like to do. And it gets really, really powerful once you start going down this rabbit hole. So implementation, how can you guys implement some of these things today? So I kind of made a little timeline of what I think is the right way to go about this. And if you are not doing any of these right now, I definitely recommend you start with something. It doesn't matter what business you have or what you're selling, what your service is. Having a customer list is always beneficial. You can, whether it's just improving your experience, providing information for how they can, work with certain things. Let's say that you're selling something that needs to be built. You can get their email and follow up with, hey, did you have trouble? Here's instructions, here's things like that. And then once you start getting cross-platform, it really gets powerful as well. Basic email flows, things like a welcome series. When someone joins your list, they want to be welcome. They're expecting to hear from you. Not to say don't spam them, but start with just basic flows. If somebody checked out, ask them for a review later on. There's a lot of different things, but starting out with just very simple ones and then building on it as you get more and more data and as you find, where people are dropping off, where people are more engaged, capitalize on that. There's a lot of possibilities here. Basic chatbot. So some kind of agent on your website, Facebook, other social medias, SMS, something that just serves as customer service, the first line of interaction between the customer and your business. And this can be, so we use a program called ManyChat that if you guys are interested, that we really recommend that. And that you can sort of spread across different platforms as well too. But just having something with even basic responses is so far ahead of what the majority of businesses are doing today. It will really set you apart. Once you have some of these things set up in the background, that's when the work really starts. It's going to be analyzing the data. And I talk about this like a garden. So you can pay to have a really nice garden put in, but unless you're maintaining it and optimizing it, it's just going to die. And it's essentially the same thing with this. You can set up a basic system, but unless you're really studying it and seeing, all right, what are people clicking on? Are they, dropping out after this message? Do you need to add a delay with another follow-up message? Do you need to, there's all of these things that you're going to be constantly looking at. So really analyzing that data and then maintaining and optimizing in the long run. So really there's a few big iterations of changes usually once you start getting data flowing in. And then after that, it's going to be a game of, just optimizing, making tweaks here and there that will give you that big return. And that is what I had for there. But also, I had a picture, if you're interested. It's a little tough to see, but the picture underneath the slide is what the Welcome Chatbot series looks like for our business, for one of our businesses. It's a little tough to see, but it's there. So as you can see, these can be as simple or as complex as you make them. You can have it linked to different flows, different programs. Really the possibilities are endless. And then from our side, We offer a free call if you want to just talk, kind of no strings attached on systems that we can implement for your business. This is how you can reach us. I also have business cards I can hand out, but you can go to our website or you can scan that QR code there and it will enter you into our welcome series. So thank you guys so much for listening. I hope I didn't bore you too much.
Lath, it was like drinking from a fire hydrant, right? There was a whole lot of information, yeah.
Yeah.
And it all, I get it and I want it. And you'll help me do it.
Yes.
Okay. What can I do on the front end to make sure that the time and effort that I put into it doesn't fall off? It has a marketing, obviously a marketing feel to it. And we know there are a lot of marketing campaigns that people put out. They put a lot of time and effort into them and then they die off. You talked about at the end, maintain it, but what can I do on the front end to improve the likelihood of the success of me implementing something like this?
Yeah. So it comes down to setting clear goals. So what is your goal for the chatbot? What is your goal for the email flows? So figuring out, like really narrowing that out. A lot of people, they'll start with like, all right, I just have to do it. But first it's better to set your goal and then you know what you're working towards. If you're trying to increase your sales, you have something very measurable that you can look, okay, this chatbot has brought in this many sales or this many reviews, or I've been able to reach this many people, this many impressions. So understanding what your goals are and sticking to that and putting the time in, it's like anything else. The time that you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
And there's a lot of data points in there. The various systems that you use to create a solution like this all have a reporting aspect that'll make it easy for me.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So we work with a few programs, but the main chatbot application that we use is ManyChat, and they are very user friendly. And so they lay it out with so they actually have data for every single message. So how many people have clicked on that option or dropped off from that message, or, went here, went there, how many people have seen this flow. So it's very transparent and it's actually a lot easier to read the data than you may think.
Gotcha. And one of the earliest pieces of that was a quality customer list.
Mhm.
And so that's proprietary to me because I don't want anybody to see it. Are there precautions in place to secure my data so that it doesn't end up as a list somewhere on the dark web?
Yeah. So there, like with any system, there may be security issues. And that's something that, you want to have the right systems in place. You want to do your homework. You want to have a good firewall, a good antivirus, anti-spyware. I know a guy, so let me know and I can
help with that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're looking for someone, let me know. I can refer you. But yeah, just being careful. I mean, obviously you don't want to sell customer data. You don't want to, you want to treat it's going to be data that you're dealing with, and you want to treat that, as if it was your own. You don't want to be putting it anywhere. You don't want to be, jeopardizing any data. So just being mindful, thinking before you click. Those are all, just like with any system, those are all security precautions that you'd want to take.
You've definitely done a lot more research on this than I have, right? So are there any industries in specific industries that lend themselves more towards solutions like this than others?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an ever growing field. There's so much research that's always coming out. Some specific industries that we see that do benefit a lot from this are like manufacturing, where they can, automate, even if you save, it all comes down to per piece. And so if you can save a few seconds that can go into production or anything like that, that's going to be very beneficial. You have things like healthcare that you can communicate with patients. You can have them, answer questions, fill out pre-vetting forms or pre-screening forms like that. You can do, as well as retail. So retail, you can interact with your customers. You can offer specific clothing, specific any kind of thing that that based on what their tags are, you can target them for other bots. You have things like spas that can benefit from scheduling appointments, things like that. Having it all automated within a chat bot is very beneficial. So really the possibilities are truly endless, especially when you get into a lot of systems and integrating systems together.
What are the drawbacks
Drawbacks
that you've experienced?
Yeah. So drawbacks to a chatbot can be things like cost to implement. So it can get pricey depending on what the solution is, but it's still honestly pretty fair. So you have the cost to implement, you have the expertise. So not a lot of people do know how to set these up right now. And you have the potential for job displacement. So our belief is that automations work hand in hand with manpower. There's not, one or the other, but it can be very beneficial when you can cross-train employees to learn how to work these systems as well. So the job displacement can be a drawback, but it can also be a benefit because there's new opportunities for people to learn these systems, to be able to troubleshoot, to be able to work within them, analyze the data there.
How would I prepare an employee for that?
Yeah, so with cross-training is going to be huge. Automation is coming one way or another. So training employees on these systems, bringing them up to speed and training them on other tasks within the company that they can work on as well. If there are repetitive manual tasks, how much value does a person add in a task that can be very quickly done, whereas the human side is more of an art. So they understand how the systems work, and then they're able to kind of work the system to what they want the customer to do towards their goal for the company.
Yeah, awesome.
Does anyone
That's all
have any questions?
Yeah. You mentioned some of the platforms, the social media platforms that you can integrate on. Can you also integrate on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn. So there are, that's a tough one. I know that a lot of people do use bots on LinkedIn, and you can. There's not as much data on it yet because LinkedIn is still, fairly new in the sense that people are using it to promote instead of network. But there are definitely ways to put chatbots into LinkedIn.
Would you put it on LinkedIn? Would it be on your profile or?
No, it would essentially be like direct messages. If somebody would message you saying, like you could say, if you want to learn more about, course A, just message course A to our bot. And then they would type that in, and then the chatbot would kind of pick up on those words and take over from there. Yeah.
We have the direct messages because I've got.
Yeah, they can be quite spammy at times. So that's there's a thin line too between spamming and really wanting to help your customer, wanting to nurture them. And so as long as you know what's right and wrong, and as long as you set it up in a way that is not like very spammy, you're going to be fine. Sorry. Educational. Yep. Educational, informative, having the customer's needs in mind.
We use Zapier.
Yep.
We've used that for quite a while. As an example, if I record a webinar and put it on our website, and I want people to watch it, I want to know who's watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So we use Zapier, and it says somebody goes to our website, they click, I want to watch this webcast, they put in their name and email, and immediately Zapier puts that in a Google Sheets or Excel spreadsheet in Google, and sends them an email from me with a follow-up link of how to get to the video to watch it, and like an offer to schedule an appointment on our calendar.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to talk about Zapier as far as automating tasks.
Yeah. So when it comes to automations, I mean, we only talked about briefly. There's so much, but Zapier is a great tool. And I think I mentioned I don't see Laura in here, but Laura was actually talking about you guys use two programs for email. And when somebody joins like this email program, she has to add them to another program. And I searched up, and Zapier actually can link those two programs together. So for anyone that doesn't know, Zapier is another automation tool that you can link like literally thousands of programs together, and like programs that otherwise would not, be able to communicate, but they have like built-in API keys, they're called, that know to talk to each other based on different events. And so, like you mentioned, like Doug mentioned, you can set up a Zap. So when somebody, puts their email in, then it can automatically add that to a spreadsheet, which then can set off a trigger for something else. It really, the possibilities are truly endless. And Zapier, we've used it for a lot of things too, but yeah, it can integrate with Shopify. It integrates with the chatbots as well. It can be a really good, useful, creative tool.
Yeah, we just use it as a creative tool. I just want to mention it in case anybody's not using it.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
automating
super powerful.
tasks. It's something as simple of clicking on a video or getting added to an email list. If the email goes out immediately or whatever, it's instantaneous and you don't ever have to worry about it. It gets done by itself.
Yeah.
Most that we use, like our CRM is what I build our automation software, so they call them sequences and that we use.
Sure.
So I kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
Build out, what it, they open it, it will go to this, that. It's just fascinating. Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool. Very
yeah.
cool.
So it's all different,
Yeah, it's essentially when you learn. So a lot of them, they will look different. But if you have basic understanding of how the flows work and how it's really quite simple. But it can get complex too. You can get into custom coding, and you can get into all of these different webhooks and Zapier and integrations. Yeah.
So what does your business do? Do you link the business with the software, and then that person purchases the software through them in a monthly program, like an active campaign? And I don't know yours if that links with ClickFunnels or not, but I'm not really sure. I'm imagining those probably go together.
I'm sure, yeah, if you use ClickFunnels. Yeah, so from our side, we can do almost anything from A to Z with regards to this. So we can, set up the flows and hand them over to you, or we can manage them. We can do content, newsletters, blogs, things like that. We can continue to optimize, or like I said, just kind of hand it over and, have at it. We don't recommend that unless you have a little bit of knowledge, and we can always show you how to manage it after the fact too. But so every solution from our side is really going to be customized to your specific business. And so that's where, if you want to talk, we can set up a quick call and just talk offline about what a solution might look like for you, and take it from there. Yeah, no problem. Did you have another question? Oh, yeah.
So a lot now in the media has been ChatGPT. Now, is that an AI bot? Like how does ChatGPT go into all of this?
I'm not very familiar with ChatGPT. I know of it. Yeah. But yeah, I believe it's just another like AI, essentially chat tool. I think it uses Google Dialogflow. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not.
One of the articles I read said that in 2 years it'll surpass Google's abilities. But it's in the application that I've used it's an app on the phone, and you can ask it about anything, and its database is as extensive as Google's, but it is able to instead of just reply as Google would with search results, it will craft the answer in a more natural language for us. It's being used in real estate a lot for people who they said they had a 2-bedroom house and gave all the details. They gave ChatGPT all the details of the home, and including location and such, and it applied all of its AI skills to look at the neighborhood and blah, 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 and pulled back the text to be used for the listing in MLS as a marketing perspective. So it was
give them words and ask questions what I thought about it.
You got a full page on it.
Yeah, I've used some
Next level.
services. Yeah, there are,
Google on steroids.
yeah, there's one I was just using actually. I can't think of the name of it, but you could essentially, yeah, like enter in any kind of words and say, you know, I want a blog written on this or something, or I want this. And, you know, a lot of them do cost money, but yeah, it is pretty crazy how powerful a lot of these things are getting.
Jasper, what's another?
What is it?
Jasper.
Jasper, yes, Jasper. Yeah, that's right.
And you tell what tone you want it in, persuasive.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't actually create the software for like the active funnel.
The software itself, we lean on like a program like ManyChat or like, yeah, but we'll do all the background with setting everything up and integrating any kind of systems that you want together into that. Mhm. Anyone else have any questions?
But where do you see nonprofits interfacing with all of these options coming in the future? How can we in the nonprofit world just stop? I know that's such a broad
Yeah.
question to a degree, but there's got to be ways for nonprofits to maximize and have success with these efforts.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot, I guess, in that response. But an example I can give is, I think it's National Geographic. Yeah, I know it's not a nonprofit, but they have a very creative chatbot that you can, you know, type in a question about animals or something, you know, something along those lines, and it will formulate, you know, a response and give you all the information around that. And you could use it for strictly educational purposes. You can use it to answer questions. You can use it to just communicate with your followers, keep them engaged. You know, it doesn't have to be just about selling. It can be.
The thing that comes to mind for us is probably our NC201 platform and how we connect with folks for human services in communities. So that's my first thought about this, but this is really fascinating.
Well, yeah, NCDMV has a basic chat bot. It's trying. But if we look at the tech, yeah, if we take a look at at these solutions from even 3 years ago, they were so basic compared to what they can do today. And once I know, like all technology, as the price comes down and there's more competition out there and the ease of use increases, then it's going to show up on who's the nonprofit software source. That like all the Microsoft software nonprofit pricing comes from there. Anyway, it'll pop up on that list that's designed for nonprofits, and then you're like, yeah, what's this? And they'll tout it for a little while, and then before you know it, all the nonprofits will be using it. So.
Yeah, I think we're only going to continue to see, you know, this be more and more prevalent as we move forward. The technology it's growing at a rapid rate, so you will start to see a lot more, you know, different chatbots and automations, and that just means that if you join earlier too, you can get maybe ahead of the curve and ahead of everyone else.
It's a true differentiator right now.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's that leverage that you have ahead of other competitors to be able to leverage these kinds of tools.
Great. If we don't have any other questions, I'll wrap it up. Again, on behalf of the chamber, thanks for joining us for this BusinessWorks Lunch and Learn. We've got another one, as Bill mentioned, on Thursday. And then next month in February, we've got our education power luncheon. So keep that on your calendars or save the date for that, as well as our annual gala banquet in March. I believe it's March 16th. So March 16th, save that date on your calendars as well. We'll put up registration for that, as it always sells out. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll be back online in 2 more days. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.